into the main course, and we can talk about 4 games coming up this weekend. How good. But first off, the buys. So in Super Rugby Aotearoa, the Blues have the bye this week. So how good for them. They've gone in 3-0, and they get a rest week to regather. So very good.
2 weeks to prep for Crusaders.
Yeah. Yeah, you need that. I feel like you need that. And the Force are the first team with the bye in Super Rugby because I guess Rugby Australia wants to prevent them from playing as long as possible. You know what I mean? It's like, just can we put it off another week or something?
Trying to give them some time, maybe.
That's it. But anyway, kicking us off on Friday night, we have the Reds and Waratahs, the old foes, up in Queensland. And who wants to rip in on that?
So injuries for this one, you've got Brendan Payenga Amosa coming back from his ankle injury. I expect him to be on the bench behind Alex Murphy. They haven't confirmed that he will play, but just time frames from when he went down, it makes complete sense unless something was horribly wrong, which I don't think it is. And Hunter Paisami as well, that basically confirmed that he's been training fully with the squad since everyone's been back from his MCL knee injury, the ligament on the inside of the knee there. So good to hear that he should be starting in the centres as well. Yep. Returning
about him.
Changes to the squad mainly. You've got Curtly Beale and Damien Fitzpatrick. Damien Fitzpatrick has retired. I would have loved to see him play, to be honest. But
he's been solid.
Yeah, so, I think he came out and said, I won't be remembered for being spectacular, but hopefully people know that I gave everything, and I 100% agree with that. I think he's an excellent player, underrated, and really happy that he was on our side as a Waratahs fan. Yep.
What a turnaround, though, just because he said at the start of the year he was stoked he'd been playing some of his best footy, and with the new Wallabies coach, he was really hoping that this could be the final shot. I mean, he had an injury-plagued career, but I wonder what's going on there.
It was a long time away from footy, and the body's going to respond differently to you returning to that and how much work he did off that period of time, and maybe just got too much.
He also weighs about 80 kilos for a hooker. That could be his problem.
That's true. I can donate him some, mate. All this time off has not done well for me. So.
Curtly Beale has been released early to go to Racing 92 or Racing. Henry Spate is gone, released early as well. Where did he go? Do you remember?
No. He went to France or something.
He went to France, yeah. He's just moving. He's just following the sunshine. He moves up to Queensland, gets some sun, and now he's like, nah, it's winter, so France, let's do it.
Very well documented by that Isaac Rodder, Harry Hawkins, and Isaac Lucas all gone for the Reds as well.
The Reds didn't need them, did they? No,
they got plenty of locks. Yeah, look, this is the first match of Super Rugby AU, something we're extremely keen for. Friday night footy, something that's going to be good to have back. I've missed it the last few weeks, that's for sure, especially now that I'm not working Fridays. That's new. That's good. It's going to be Wallaby potential versus Wallaby potential, Hooper versus Wright, Angus Bell versus Tupou, Gordon versus McDermott. This is going to be exciting. This used to be a fixture that they called Battle of the Border. There was lots of blood. There was lots of sledging. There was lots of anger. And it's been something that's been lost a little bit in recent years, I think. But New South Wales have taken the first shot at trying to bring it back. They've brought in Paul Gallen, who's a long-term New South Wales State of Origin player from Rugby League. He's come and had a chat to the younger players and things like that about the hate for New South Wales and hate for Queensland, and trying to build up that.
You beefed that one up.
Match. These are matches that you used to remember, like Croft and Phil Ward pouring blood by the end of the game, and hopefully we're seeing some anger back in this one.
I remember Gallen. He came into the physio clinic because I'm down near the Sharkies the day after State of Origin round 3 a couple of years ago, and his head had been cut open. He was battered and bruised. He looked like he'd been indebted a boxing match. It was just insane. So I'm hoping that he can inspire just a little bit of that aggression, physicality in the Waratahs players.
There's lots of mates in these two teams, so hopefully they want to smash each other.
And I love this chat, boys, but that's far too much talk on rugby league, so let's move along.
So look, this is a match that I think one of the reasons why it's lost some of that the aggression and emotion behind it is the Waratahs have just dominated this for a really long period of time. They've actually won 11 matches in a row, which is absolutely crazy. The last time they actually lost was the first game back from that Lions tour in 2013. So generally there's been high-scoring matches, especially in recent years. But I don't think it's going to necessarily go all the way of the Waratahs this one, so it'll be interesting to see.
It'd be some effort for the Waratahs to come back and beat the Reds in Queensland this year with how they were both teams were looking before the break. But look, they're actually the two worst performing sides in our opinions when we were discussing this in Super Rugby from the Australian Conference. The Reds technically sitting above the Rebels, but had played an extra game and were even on points and had one less win as well. The Reds, they really sold in patches, had an excellent game against the Crusaders over in New Zealand where they managed to blow a lead. But they still just, for us, they don't know how to win.
Yeah.
They don't know how to win those close moments. So it's a little bit like the Blues in Super Rugby over the last 4 or 5 years. And we've seen that can be quite a big hurdle to jump. On the other hand, the Waratahs were very, very average. I think we were seeing the effects from he who shall not be named that coached the Waratahs for the last few years, who butchered not only a lot of careers from the starting side, but also the next generation by not getting them any game time as well. And he won't be mentioned again, even though he wasn't this time.
It was all a master plan from across the ditch.
That's right. But Penny came in and has put it right. Has put it right.
Also part of the plan, or I don't know. We'll see.
Look, I think something we're gonna note from Penny here is the chance to actually give these younger players the opportunity and give them a crack, something that has been notably missing from the Waratahs. So the Reds have been good at building their younger players, giving them opportunities. And that's something that you can see there. Maybe they're lacking a little bit of that experience, but the young players have been really, really solid. The Tars, they've now lost Kurtley Beale, so they've lost a little bit of that experience. They've lost Damien Fitzpatrick. So a few of the younger guys are going to be thrown into the deep end a little bit more with their maturity and control of the game. Will Harrison's one that comes to mind. But look, it's a game I'm generally really excited for. With Beale gone, Maddox is going to be shifting to fullback, his preferred position. He's adamant that that's where he wants to be playing, and he wants to be playing for the Wallabies, even though there's been rumours out that he might be looking offshore, especially to the US. But the thing that the Tars need is they need some grunt. The Reds have just lost a little bit of that grunt. The Tars, I think if they're going to bring that grunt in, there's a few guys that hopefully can offer that, because a lot of the starters just have not been doing it this year. I'd love to see someone like Will Harris have a chance. He's the number 8.
Harry Wilson?
No, Will Harris.
Will Harrison?
No, Will Harris. He's the guy that kept Harry Wilson, for the people that know him from the Reds. He kept him out of his position for the Aussie under-20, shifting him and relegating him to the blindside flank.
Just last year.
Yeah, just last year. So he's got a lot of potential, and he's quite a physical, aggressive player, something that I think the Waratahs really need. Also, Pat Tarfer, he's quite an aggressive, physical player as well. The issue is both of them can play lock, but neither of them really have the height for lock.
Oh, Pat Tarfer, I think, is a lock, I'll be honest.
He's like probably, 196, 195, something like that.
I don't know. I didn't think it either until I went and saw him in a Waratahs B side game. He's big enough to be a lock, and I think he's a bit too slow. I think he is a lock.
So he's big enough compared to you?
Look, the other thing is, if Will Harris is a really good line-out jumper, he could be the next Ned Hannigan.
Oh, Ned Hannigan is back. There's one thing. So here you go. Pat Tarfer is 194. So that is very short for a lock like this.
Mitchell Brown is about the same height for the Chiefs, and I think he's a 6-playing lock. I just don't see him as a starting lock at all, despite the fact that they've been playing in there. So I'm with you. I don't think that's big enough.
It's also because I just want him to play lock, because who the hell do we playing lock? So.
Tom Staniforth, mate.
Yeah, mate, he's Benjamin Button. He's aging backwards. It seems like 90 years old.
Yeah, agreed. The big question mark over the Waratahs right now is the outside centre channel. I just don't think that they've had anyone really grab that and run with it. I know, Nelson, you were thinking that there's some good raps on a young man,
middle 20s,
mid-20s, yeah. Nick Malouf coming across back as the vice captain from the Sevens side.
Yeah, Nick Malouf was a flanker that transitioned into the outside backs. Really wanted to give a chance his arm at Sevens, but prior to that, played a few years for Leicester over in the English league. He was there for 2 seasons, playing wing/outside centre. And I think he brings leadership, something that the team needs, especially after losing Beale. He brings maturity, and he's quite a solid player. He knows how to throw the ball around. He knows how to defend. He's got a lot of those skills that I'd love to see actually get given a chance. I don't think we'll see him at the very start of the season, but he's a guy that, I mean, realistically could have a chance to work his way into this squad. Lalakai Foketi is someone that's been playing there a little bit. Alex Newsom's been playing there a little bit, but neither of them have really locked down that 13 jersey.
Yeah, that's good. I think, look, you touched on it before about Rob Penny trying new players. And, man, if he had a license to be able to do that before as a new coach with a young team, new coach, young team, new competition, like he'll try. He can try anything.
There's got to be nothing stopping him after that first part of the season, right? I mean, he was chancing his arm a little bit, and there's not much expected from him now. So, I mean, there's no better time to bring in these guys. We saw the Lions do it. Most notably, I think, when they weren't having performances go their way, just bringing in some of the younger players, and hopefully it's something we see more of at the Tars.
Yeah.
Great.
The other question is, what do the Reds do with their second row now that they've lost their first choice and third choice lock? Angus Blythe will obviously start there, but Isaac Rodder's their pillar, and I believe their line-out caller as well. Lukan Salakai-Loto is the obvious option. I think they just have to push him into the locking jersey for this year as well, at least while they try and develop some of their younger guys. I know they've brought in Smith, who is Smith. Either way, anyway, they brought in a mid-20s bloke that has been on the fringe of a couple of different squads that is obviously not going to be challenging for a starter role. So Salakai-Loto, Angus Blythe for me will start. And then obviously that opens up the sixth channel for who knows who. Fraser McBride, I know, is Nelson's favourite pick, because if you ask Nelson, open side flankers should play in every position.
Yeah, pretty much. No, look, there's two people that could potentially fill that role. You could see Wright shift across to blindside flank, and his McDonald's related brother, Mick Wright, coming in to open side flanker. Or we could also see another potential, Angus Scott Young filling that sixth void. He's been there for a little while. I think he's a quality player, but I really just want to see Mick Wright have a crack.
I have to say, I'd be surprised if we don't see Angus Scott Young, but I previously had a bet with you, Nelson, about whether we would see McWright and Liam Wright on the field at the same time in 6 and 7. I don't think I'll retake that bet up with you again now.
It's going to happen, mate. It's definitely
Look, the other question is, who the hell is the hookers for the Waratahs? Robbie Abel is one option.
Tuala?
Can we have Hugh Roach back? He got red carded for the Crusaders, but he got to play with them for a while. Can he come back?
Honestly, that's probably quite a good thing. Like bring Roachy back. We've got.
I always liked him.
Robbie Abel, Robbie Abel's brother.
Hopefully he was over there just taking notes. Do you know what I mean? Just like recording training or something. That's what I would have been doing. But sell that IP anywhere. It's a
Mate, we all know that spending 3 months with the Crusaders is spending 20 years with the Waratahs. So
that's fair.
He's better than he's ever been.
Yeah.
Very good. All right. Well, does that round us out for the Tars and Reds?
I think so.
Excited about that one. Are we calling? Who do we think?
Reds.
Waratahs, 11 in a row, mate. You can't break a streak.
You can, and they will. Hopefully not.
I have to say, I'm also going to go with the Reds. Sorry, Harry.
Turmoil, mate. There's turmoil in Queensland.
Look, I will put a little note here that if we see a few new players starting for the Tars with aggressive players, maybe there's been a lot of turmoil there for the Reds. If we do see Pat Tarfer in the lineup, if we do see Will Harris in the lineup, maybe we'll have some aggression and guys that really, really want it. But some of the guys just have not been wanting it. So if they're in the squad, the lineup from before, we're not going to see it.
I just can't wait for Angus Bell versus Tupou. That's going to really get my rocks off.
That part of the scrum just...
Let's kick on, gentlemen.
I agree. Let's do it. All right. Back to New Zealand rugby. Super Rugby Aotearoa. Highlanders and the Crusaders under the roof in Dunedin. Going to be the best footy. Cannot wait. This game always delivers. It's always extremely physical and a lot of free running rugby. So going to be very exciting. Returning for this one, Josh Ioane, coming back from a groin injury.
I mean, he's very close to being confirmed. He's got to get through some kicking this week. But if he does that, then he should be fine.
Excellent. And as we touched on earlier, that we would expect to see Mitch Hunt back to 15 because they have had very limited success so far with Gregory and Nareki both playing a game each there. So
Corey.
Corey, sorry. What did I say? Oh, Nareki, yeah, Corey.
Yeah.
Corey, my bad. Excellent. All right, Harry, do you want to rip into this one for us?
Yeah, absolutely. So Sam Gilbert, obviously, we expect he won't be around considering the struggle walking around that knee. So maybe Josh McCain on that wing is the obvious sub. Push Mitch Hunt, or maybe Gregory to the wing, but I think he needs to have a sit down after his performance.
What about Karate Kid?
I think he's injured.
No, bro, yeah. I think Gregory got sat down, both figuratively and literally.
Yeah. Look, it'll be played under the roof, and is there any better place to watch the Crusaders backline run around? I don't think so. So I don't know what to say other than watch out. Anybody playing the Crusaders in dry conditions, this is going to be absolute trouble. I don't want to defend them.
Are you two just going to put a tenner on every back in the Crusaders for first try scorer?
Anytime try scorer, yeah. Look, actually, I wouldn't mind defending them because they're so much better that I wouldn't actually put a hand on them. So I'd come off scot-free, but yeah, it wouldn't go well for me. Look, sure, David Havili gets a start. I know he's coming back from his injury, but he's played a few minutes now. Will Jordan has been exceptional, so who do you drop? I had this discussion with a few people over the weekend. I have no idea, Nels. I think we said Josh Goodhue's probably in the worst form, and he's still excellent.
Yeah,
Jack Goodhue.
Jack Goodhue, yeah.
Well, yeah, or Josh Goodhue. Look, I think it's hard. Havili's first choice is not going to be at inside centre, but if we were coaches and we're going based on form, he's the guy for me. Yeah. Which we're not coaches. All right. I think something that we'd love to see, Nehe Milner-Skudder, he is not back yet, we think, for at least another week. But yeah, look, this Crusaders defence showed itself last week against a lot of flair with the Chiefs in the pouring rain. And as Harry touched on, the outside backs look really, really solid. So it's going to be scary. Highlanders have looked much improved with 6 tries. But yeah, look, for me, I just can't see where the Highlanders are going to get over the Crusaders here.
So 4 of their 6 tries were through the forwards, right? 3 from kind of in tight pick and goes, that kind of thing, and 1 from a rolling maul. And we saw the Chiefs try rolling maul attack against the Crusaders and literally not make a single metre off 3 attempts. So we throw that try out and then the other 3 in tight. I just don't believe the Crusaders give you that much space in tight to score points. So I can't see how the Highlanders score more than a try or 2 in this game. And basically the only way that means they can possibly win is if they can, number one, hold the Crusaders to not many, which is almost impossible, and score a lot of penalty kicks themselves. So it's going to come down to Mitch Hunt or Joshuane kicking very well. I expect Mitch Hunt.
The one avenue maybe that's going to work in their favour here is if they have both of those guys playing, both guys with the ability to kick and kick for field position. If they're doing that a lot, they've been so solid in the scrum. They've had 27 out of 28 lineouts to date in this competition. So that's probably their strong suit. If you're not coaching them to say, let's kick to the corners, let's back our line out, because how solid it has been with Pari Parkinson and the rest of the boys there, I don't know what you're going to be trying to do against these guys. Don't kick the ball in field. It's not going to work for you. Kick it out and back your line out.
I agree, and we said, Harry, it was amazing that the Highlanders added a rolling maul to their game that we hadn't previously seen, with Ash Dixon guest scoring a try in round 1. But I just don't see them overpowering the Crusaders with that.
One more point from there is, Harry and I did talk, though, although they're good at lineouts, you're not going to get a driving maul try against them. Yeah, you just cannot get a driving maul try against the Crusaders. Actually, watching them on the weekend, they have a very different seeming defensive structure compared to normal. They're not setting, 3-2-1 and forming that forward pack, that scrum to almost to defensively block it. They spread and try to just cover that whole cover that whole maul. Yep.
And I mentioned Tom Christie as well. We haven't heard where he's at. I believe he's injured, but I've heard nothing, so I haven't even put it on the casualty ward. But I've just heard some rumours about that. I think that might be all it is, just because he's not on the team. But surely we're going to see more out of Fetu Douglas, Billy Harmon and Cullen Grace they need some. I remember Billy Harmon making an incredible catch and pass on in the first game, but otherwise, really, they haven't been overly effective for me compared to some of the other players, some of the other teams. And considering Michaeli Tu'u and Frizzell's games, no. In the last game, I think those two outside backs and back rowers and Dylan Hunt as well. That's a real advantage for the Highlanders at the moment as well.
Yeah, Vetu particularly has been. I feel like he's been very quiet. He's normally the workman. Like he's not normally very flashy, but you just normally notice him still getting through a lot of work. And I haven't as much seen so much.
I agree. Crusaders by 12. Yep. More.
No, I'm going to go by more. Yeah, Crusaders by 17. There we go.
They only beat the Chiefs by 5 on the weekend. The Highlanders beat them.
Under the roof, mate. Sever Reese 2 tries at least.
Okay, I'm going to say 15.
So you reckon under the roof is better for the Crusaders than in the rain?
Well, Crusaders dominated in the rain, so
they're going to every.
I think every set of conditions favours the Crusaders, but under the roof is best. Yes. All right. Now, very good. Let's move on to the other game. So following that, back-to-back games on Saturday. How good. Brumbies and the Rebels. This is Canberra, GIO Stadium. If the Rebels left, I think they're leaving tomorrow, leaving very early to try and...
No, they left last Friday.
Oh, sorry, they left last Friday. That's right. They left super early just to escape Victoria, and hopefully they're the only Victorians being allowed up into New South Wales. But
and as you're obviously aware, I mean, number one, Canberra not part of New South Wales. Craig's just to put that out there.
I think you'll find it's inside New South Wales, though. They have to.
Righto. And on top of that, for those that aren't in Australia, Victoria have had a breakout of the coronavirus at the moment. I think 70-something new cases today, so 40-something yesterday. So at the moment, Australia's panicked a little bit about what's going on in Melbourne. So that's why they've left. And I think that could definitely serve as a good point for them to hopefully come together and have a chance to really change their culture and get close.
Yeah, they're going to be on tour and they're going to be, relying on each other a lot through this period of time. I can't see them heading back to Melbourne anytime soon. Queensland have actually shut down basically their systems and their borders to a lot of places. But if you're a team and you're playing someone from Melbourne or you're playing in Melbourne, things like that, they're going to just force you to have a 2-week lockdown. So that's why the Rebels moved early, preempted that. So make sure that they didn't have to worry about that 2-week, lockdown.
Yep.
And I was going to wait till the dessert, but it seems relevant now. There was Beth Newman, unfortunately now ex-Rugby Australia journo, has just been saying that the Rebels round 2 home game has obviously already been relocated, but it's looking like the following 2 games, so July 24 against the Tars, August 7th against the Brumbies, are very likely looking at being moved now as well. So I hope Rugby AU has kind of, made alternate plans, like as they've set this competition up. Obviously, they've only been recently setting up fixtures, but
they're going ahead with the match in New South Wales. They've already said the next week's match against the Reds will be in New South Wales. So I think it's not going to be too tricky to relocate it. There's not going to be big crowds. I don't think it'll be too big an issue. I suppose we'll still be seeing at the same time. We won't be seeing what happened in the original part of the season where we had the double header. But they're looking also at swapping their match with New South Wales. So they're playing New South Wales. And if things change, then they get to play in Melbourne for the second fixture there.
Yep. So returning from this one, there's a lot of guys that could get a run this week. So first of all, Tom Banks has been nursing a foot injury. They expect him to be back this week. I don't think it's guaranteed, to be honest with you, with the language they were using. That seems likely that he will play. Also, Luke Jones, we didn't see any of him at the start of the competition this year. They kept saying back injury, back injury, back injury. Unlike Sam Cane, he feels pain, and he didn't get back from his back injury.
He plagued my fantasy bench, yep.
That's right. So hopefully he's back starting for them before going overseas at the end of the year. Also, Reece Hodge with his groin injury and Campbell Magnay, who was injured, but I'm not sure what happened to him. He got pulled late in round 4, I think it was. The 2 of those guys that we assume will be fit to add a lot of depth to the back line for to the Rebels.
Campbell Magnay, a player we're all very excited about. We all really would like to see more of him.
And Reece Hodge in form as well, to be fair.
Yep.
On top of that, just to top it off before we move on to some more specifics, Lewis Hollands, the ex-captain and playmaker, 25-year-old from Rugby Sevens Australia, fantastic player.
Weapon.
Anderson and Gerald Skelton, both Rugby Sevens players as well. I think Gerald Skelton especially has big raps on his physical ability as a loose forward as well.
Yep.
And Folau Fainga is back from the never-ending toe injury. Is that what it was?
Yeah, it was toe or foot, something like that.
Yeah.
Toe. Well, I think we'll touch on those Sevens players a little bit more in dessert. But look, the Brumbies are the clear pace setters, as they tend to be every year in this Australian conference. Nick Frost, Caden Neville are both injured. Darcy Swain will get his chance alongside Murray Douglas. And we also see the return of ex-Brumby Ben Hine, who was playing with the Sunwolves. He got picked up straight away from the Brumbies as soon as they had the opportunity. But look, I don't think we'll see him coming into the starting side. He'll probably be on the bench replacing Neville.
He's another guy he's a back rower, not a lock. I'm sorry, I don't see where he's coming from. He's 1.94 m as well.
He's definitely a back rower. He's played number 8 most of the time for the Brums, but I think he's been around the Brumbies environment for a long time, which is why they snapped him straight back up. But
he's the same height as Pat Taffa, right?
He's a lot smaller. He's smaller than Pat Taffa, quite a lot smaller.
He's the exact same height.
Yeah.
There's not just height, mate. Okay, there's weight and there's more to it. But no, he made two starts to his career at the Brumbies, and both of them ended in like horrific injury, like within the first 20 minutes. I don't know if you guys remember. So he's had an awful lot of bad luck.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So we're also, I mean, even though that's what we're sort of talking about, that there's a few changes in the locks, you're still going to see a really solid Brumby scrum. They've just been immovable whenever they've had the ball in the scrum, and defensively they're really solid as well. And you just expect them to monster the maul as well. Lineouts, I mean, Folau Fainga, you heard it when you listened to our podcast with Alan Alatoa. The man just thrives on scoring tries off the back of the driving maul. He actually was equal top try scorer for Super Rugby, not just the Australian Conference, but Super Rugby wide at the first sort of part of this year. And that's with missing, I think it was the last 3 games out of 7 rounds, yet he was still equal. Pretty amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Crazy. Do you think he'll go early in our draft on this Thursday, Nelson?
Most definitely.
I don't think he'll get to number 8, put it that way.
Hopefully he does.
Very good. Yes, well, a player I'm excited about. We'll get to. I was going to prop Nelson on the back row, but before we get there, let's talk about the important positions. The very young and exciting prop, Shambek Lavui, tight head prop, Aussie under 20s, a couple of years in the TARS system. Didn't really get a run, but was also injured, and he's come down to the Brumbies. And could there be a better place to be a tight head understudy than under captain of the Brumbies, Alan Alatoa? He's in a very similar mould. Shambek Lavui is one of these kind of incredibly athletic tight head props. Got some absolute pace on him and some skills. And so I'm hoping that, we see him he's apparently fit as a fiddle. So hopefully
the biggest thing out of this is, although Canberra is very cold, they don't make the pudgy players. They don't ever make the props. They always take them from New South Wales. They've got Alan Alatoa, Scotty Seo. They've got now Shambek Lavui, and they got Slipper, I think, from Queensland.
That's it. Well, Vui was actually at the Force to start with as well, I think. I think Vui's at the Force, and then...
Yeah.
But anyway, so the other reason I'm excited about him is that Les Macon, who has been Alan's backup to come on and play about 2 minutes an average of a game, because Alan plays 78 minutes. He's injured and out for the season. So, yes, hopefully Shambek Lavui should be thrust straight into it and see some time. So it's not like they were really had a poor front row. They've now got Seo, Slipper, Alan Alatoa, and Vui. I mean, that's the dream.
Good to see. In terms of the back row, the Brumbies are spoiled for choice. I mean, we could spend ages on these, but I'll try not to. Valetini and Samu have just been really rock solid for them. Valetini is an absolute beast, covering either 6 or 8. Samu's an absolute beast, covering 6 or 8 as well. I think they're two right now that we have to assume are locked in. It's going to be a fight for that 7 jersey between Miller and Cusack. I don't see Cusack taking that jersey from Miller. I think he's been a perfect combination with the other two there starting at 7, and he's what they need as that 7 role. Cusack saying himself he thinks it's going to be hard for himself to work back into that starting side. You've also got McCaffrey, who's now working his way back in. You've got Brown, who we haven't seen for a little while. So it'll be probably a fight for me with McCaffrey and Cusack to cover that bench spot. And I think at the moment, against my gut, I think Cusack's going to be the guy to take it, because they want to have someone that can cover that 7 jersey a little bit more, where you've got the 2 other guys, your 6 and 8, that are pretty interchangeable.
I'll agree with that. Yep. Very good.
Reece Hodge, he's a guy that we've talked about a lot. He needs to find himself his position. He should be fit. We assume that Campbell Magnay's fit. But Reece Hodge he's been one of those guys that he just seems to be too versatile, and he hasn't been able to lock himself down. So hopefully we get to see him having a good crack and locking himself in.
Yeah, we mentioned him in Campbell Magnay as well. So, and on top of that, Andrew Kellaway, who didn't start in the starting side at the start of the original Super Rugby as well. So Kellaway took every opportunity, and there was a lot of buzz about his form as well. He's obviously holds the record, I believe, for the most tries ever in the Under-20s World Cup.
Also, equal top try scorer in the first half of the season. Yeah.
He had to be one of the form players in the Australian Conference.
Definitely was.
So that's the thing, right? Like if we assume he has to get a start in his wing, then where does Reece Hodge, Andrew Kellaway, Reece Hodge, Campbell Magnay, and Tom English fit in? There's probably one position for those 3 guys, and who's going to get the outside centre role? My gut feeling is you just put Reece Hodge there because of how versatile he is, and I think there's a lot of people that believe that could be his best position, but geez, there's a lot of competition for that backline spot.
Also, with that, the new laws around the 40-20, 50-22, those sorts of things, the ability to have a number of kickers in your side is going to be massive. So that's something that he offers above the other guys.
Yeah, and having said that as well, Noah Alessio, pretty big benefit to having someone kicking like him as well. But mind you, on the flip side of things, you have probably the most experienced 5'8" out of any of the teams as well over in the Rebels.
And the man himself, who I think tabled a few of these different laws.
Yes, right in the man himself as the voice of all rugby positions in the game at the moment. Yeah.
Fantastic. All right, and now let's move on to the
Brumbies by how much, guys?
Thank you. Sorry. Brumbies by I don't know. I got 21.
Oh, that's big. I'm going to say Brumbies by 17.
15.
I like having the outlier. I'm a big fan of that.
You're always out.
Hurricanes, gentlemen.
Yeah, so in the returns column, we've got Solomon Alamalo returning from being sick, and Tupo Uvaya, who is also returning from
I'm sick of not seeing him play, so let's get him on the field.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Excellent. This is pretty obvious, has to be said. Both teams desperately need the win. Last week they were saying it's not down and out yet for the Chiefs. This week it will be down and out for the Chiefs if they don't get a win on the board. They're down 3-0. Canes are down 2-0. They'll be desperate.
Yeah, I think Sam Cane made a big difference for them coming back in. Just before the COVID break, the Hurricanes got up 24-27. But I don't really see that happening again. Chiefs at home, I think, is really big. Once those cowbells start ringing, it is hard to kind of get the momentum back from the Chiefs as the Chiefs mana kicks in. I think Aaron Cruden will probably be better for watching that game back and realising he's throwing a little bit too much ball away, and that kicking is particularly important in the game at the moment. And, I think the forward pack with Sam Cane is just a different beast, and I'm starting to appreciate his leadership a little bit more as well, to be honest.
It's true. The Hurricanes have been hit this week with assistant coach Carlos Spencer has been let go. So that's just he's finishing up his contract early. So stopping.
We'll take him to any of our teams.
Yeah, Carlos, mate, come over here, please. Thank you.
So you're saying without Carlos Spencer, we're not going to see any more trick plays from Garden Basher? No more.
No more trick plays.
No more.
But look, very good. What an exciting player. Well, no, speaking of Garden Bishop, I think the reason that the Hurricanes aren't winning is twofold. One is they've just been suffering severely from a severe loss of depletion of Barretts. They've they've lost two Barretts.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
But yeah, speaking of Garden Bastrop, I think Geordie Barrett's straight in there at 10. Chase D'Aotea has been doing a fine job at 15, as I've said. So
that's a big call. Let's just put it out there.
I think it's a big call, but if you were Geordie Barrett, as if you wouldn't want to, just be like, give me the reins, let me take over.
I still agree. It's a big call.
Beauden Barrett's at 15 now anyway, so he's taking the spot. Geordie may as well play 10.
He's gone, look, you made the All Blacks before, Geordie. See if you can make it in another position, mate. Try that on.
Am I right in thinking that Geordie played 10 for the All Blacks more recently than Beauden?
I think he did.
Probably. Probably.
Wowzers.
There you go. So you heard it here first. Geordie Barrett coming back from his shoulder injury will play at 10 for the Hurricanes.
Put your house on it.
Yeah. Has there been any update on that injury?
No, but it's about 4 weeks after an instability injury. I still think he's pushed to get back. Watch the Kiwis prove me wrong again, but it would be a relatively quick recovery if he's back now.
Okay. And now, look, I haven't stayed on top of the news. I did know that Tyler Ardron has signed overseas, but I didn't realise that was with immediate effect. I mean, I guess it makes sense.
Yeah, the announcement was him and Tamur Manu, but Manu goes at the end of the year.
Okay, so it's not like the Chiefs need a lock right now or anything. But no, that's disappointing. I was looking forward to seeing him return to play, but.
They need more than a lock. They need Alamalo to start, which hopefully we'll see. They need Tokiaho to come back into that starting side. But yeah, hopefully DMAC just continues to influence the game like we know he can. He just needs some people around him to back him up. And I think Alamalo is probably the guy that we can expect to do it.
Yeah, yep. I think so. And they pointed out that Anton Leonard-Brown had a huge amount of carries in the first couple of weeks of the year. I think everything is on his shoulders at the moment. It'd be really good to see DMAC in at first receiver a lot.
Yep.
And like you said, Alamalo taking a little bit more as well.
Yep.
We haven't really said much about the Hurricanes. We got any points about them? I mean, I think
no.
It's really going to be about the battle of the backs, but I think this is going to be one where the Chiefs forward pack will really get on top of the Hurricanes.
Well,
I think the Hurricanes forward pack has been lacking. So their back row just doesn't really get much done. I mean, with Artie not being back to Artie, I mean, if Artie suddenly turns up, he can carry the whole team. But
I don't think we'll expect Artie to turn back up to be Artie. I think it's going to take him time, as we've said before, to work back into it. But there's definitely a tough ask for them in this match between him and Karifi. I mean, they really need to do some work around the breakdown and some solid defensive work.
I think they just need to get the balance of their forward pack right. I think they're lacking set piece prowess, especially in the second row, and I don't think Bad Fafita is the answer to that. I think he's probably a better 6. Get Scott Scrafton back in the starting locks, and then I think the rest of the back row can kind of sort itself out. You have to have a Reed Princep in there, maybe Gareth Evans, one of those two at 8, and then Artie Severe at 7. Give Karifi the chance just to go mental for the last 20 minutes.
I agree.
They just need to get that balance right, and I think it hasn't quite been there yet.
They've gone too much down the pathway of what Australia Rugby normally does, and they go, let's just put a couple overside flankers on. Look. And we've said it before with New Zealand that they've got the best, two of the best flankers in the world, and they don't play them together. Yet for some reason, we've moved Artie Sevilla into number 8 and try to put another player then into that starting role. Get him back into that 7 jersey.
In terms of playing players out of position at the same time, my solution is very simple. They just need to have Dane Coles and Asafa Mua on the field at the same time. I don't care. Just move one of them to flanker. Don't care which one, but get him on.
The other thing is, with Artie Sevilla not being at 100%, the thing he's lacking is a little bit of that aggression to contact. Even more reason to play him at open side flanker so he can make his tackles and push his work rate around. They talked about moving him to number 8 so that he can have more of a run. Well, let him get his confidence back in a position he's comfortable with.
I agree.
Then shift him back to 8.
Yep.
Very good. All right, so it sounds like we're all backing the Chiefs to win this one. That's the overwhelming? And how much by? Harry, we'll go with you first.
Yeah, okay, good. I reckon that they're going to do it relatively comfortably after last week's showing. I reckon they're going to do it by 14.
14, oof.
I'm pretty confident that it will be more than a 1.1 score win. I'm going to go for 12 points.
And I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to go to 10. I reckon 10. So I'm going to take the low liar on this one.
Why is that the opposite? You did the exact same thing. Take 2 points off.
I just mean I've had the high. I've got the high outlier on every.
All right, let's kick on, gentlemen. Dessert.